Hi everyone, I'm back. This is Kim. I'm here today to show you how to make pom-poms. This will be the first video in a series where I show you, after you've made the pom-poms, some of the really cool things that you can do with them. So let's get started. When you're working with Clover Pom Pom makers, it's important to see that there are two different sides. So there's this side and there's this side. And when I'm teaching kids, I like to show them that I call them legs. So you want to make sure that the two legs on this side and the two legs on this side are lined up. And they open and they close. And you'll see what the purpose of this is in a minute. The other thing to take note of is that the pom-pom maker comes apart into two pieces. If it comes apart, you didn't break it. It's necessary for making the pom-poms, but I just wanted to point that out. When you start, you want to make sure that the pom-pom maker is snapped closed. You'll hear a little snap. And you're going to start with just one side. Okay, so I think it's easier when you're starting to start from the inside, but I've noticed that it doesn't really matter. So just to show you, I'm going to start on this side, and you're going to start wrapping the yarn. As you wrap it, you'll notice that it keeps the two legs together, which is what you want. You want these two legs to stay together the whole time while you're wrapping. That's going to help to make sure that you have a perfect pom-pom. We're just going to keep going. And many people have asked me, how much yarn do you need? I don't know how many times you wrap. You're going to have to wrap this because every yarn has a different thickness, but a good indicator as to whether you have enough yarn is how well it closes. So right now this opens and closes really easily. That means I need more yarn. You want there to be a little bit of resistance when you're closing, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Oh, my yarn has a little hole there. It came like that. I'm just going to ignore it and keep wrapping. And now we're going to do the test again to see if it closes. And you could hear that. Do you hear that there's a little resistance there? So I'm just going to finish up this part, and then I'm going to close my pom-pom maker, and I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to jump over to this side and start wrapping the other side. I could sort of tell that it's getting pretty thick and it's looking pretty similar to the other side. So I think I'm going to get to the end of this row and stop. And now you've done the hard part. So close your pom-pom maker, trim off your extra yarn, and you should have something that looks like this. Now, what you need to do is we're going to need to cut this yarn between the two legs. So we're going to cut up this way. And I have found that the easiest way to do that is using a smaller pair of scissors. Nail scissors work great, smaller crafting scissors. I have a really hard time when I try to use these, so I would recommend not using them. Okay, so you're going to get your scissors in between, and you're just going to do a little bit at a time. It's actually very satisfying. I love these scissors because they're really sharp, but if you're doing this with kids, either be careful or maybe you need to help them with the step. Now you could see that the pom-pom maker, because it's so overstuffed, it wants to open up, but you're just going to keep making sure that it doesn't. And you could see why. I'm going to give you a little preview. All of these pieces of yarn are now cut, and if you open it up, they're all going to fall apart. So you want to make sure that you're holding that pretty tight. Now we're going to do the other side. All right, so I have cut both sides of my pom-pom, and now we need to hold it all together. And the best way to do that is with more yarn. I'm going to use the same color yarn for all of my pom-poms because eventually I want to make it into a mobile and I want them all to match. So let me go and grab that yarn.
I thought you saw me.
Okay, so I'm going to use white, and I have a lot of yarn here. It's better for you to have more than less because you want it to be long enough to make the mobile later on, or to make a pom-pom rug, or whatever it is you're wanting to make with this pom-pom keychain. I notice I have a little piece right there. Cut it. Okay, so you're going to take your yarn, you're going to put it between the legs and push. Then you're going to flip it over and you're going to tie a knot. The knot is going to have to be very tight, but you don't want to pull too hard where you break the yarn. So you're going to gently pull the knot, and then you're going to go to the other side and you're going to do the same thing. So we're going to tie a knot and pull. And now we're going to open it up. I'm going to show you how this makes a pom-pom. So you slide open the legs, and then you pull apart the two pieces of the pom-pom maker, and you have a pom-pom that requires very little trimming. I'm just going to trim these two long ones and this little piece right here. And for the most part, you have a really nice pom-pom right now. We're going to keep it attached to the string so that we can do other projects with it. But that's how you make a pom-pom using the Clover Pom Pom maker.